Hello? Are we live? Is it Thursday already? Is this thing on? I don't know what's going on over here. Technical difficulties, I suppose. But, I guess, are we live? Are we here, chat? Katee Sackhoff talking craziness in the Star Wars fandom, making Cal Kestis coming to live action possibly an opportunity in the near future, like next year. Are we live? Like, what's going on here, chat? Are we actually here? Are we here, chat? What's going on? Are we live? What's going on? Are we here, chat? I don't know why my software's being stupid, chat. I don't know what's up with the whole Streamlabs as of late. We went almost a whole year without having technical difficulties, and now the last 2 weeks have been chaos. It's been chaos. But here we are. We made it. We're live, finally. Cal Kestis. All right, let's talk about this. Katee Sackhoff, we talked about this on Tuesday, the images that she released. But things got so much crazier over the course of this week as Star Wars fans have done their jobs. They've dissected every little detail that's ever happened in the Star Wars universe. And it might all be pointing to Cal Kestis. All this stuff with Grand Admiral Thrawn, Ahsoka Season 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, even the Maul series might be pointing directly to Cal frickin' Kestis. I know, it sounds crazy, but we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about it! But without further ado, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? I don't know why, but our chat's going to be really weird today, and I'm not a happy camper about it, but let's do this anyway. Okay. Dom, what is up? Starship 66 in the house. Mando United, how we doing? WUV Grad in the house. I Haja, what is up? Brandon Baker, how we doing? Kip Fisto, what is up? Jeannie from Tahini, how we doing? 730 Evie, what is up? Holly, how we doing? Another Mike who loves Star Wars, what is up? Lobo, how we doing? 50 Thunder, what is up? Okay, you know the deal. If I missed you, just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little,
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
There really is nothing more frustrating when you want to start a stream and then the software that you use doesn't want to work. There's really nothing more frustrating. But we are live anyway, just a couple minutes late. What are you going to do? But we're talking craziness today. Not only Cal Kestis, not only Katee Sackhoff, but the sequel trilogy as well. As a fan-made sequel trilogy change, retcon, if you will, has been implemented into the canon of Star Wars. So we'll be talking about that too. Kino Loy, Andy Serkis, has opened up about not being in Andor Season 2, so we can talk about that as well. And Spaceballs 2. Give me a 1 into the chat if you've seen Spaceballs, because they are making a Spaceballs 2. And the trailer for it, or the teaser trailer for it, dropped today, and it's freaking hilarious. So we'll watch that as well. But we got a lot of craziness to get into. And as per usual, not a lot of time. So without further ado, let's dive into all of this stuff. Okay, so first things first, let's start with where all this craziness began. And that was on Tuesday when Katee Sackhoff posted this. We talked about this. We dissected it. We talked all about it and speculated on Tuesday. But now we have so much more. I guess we should go to this picture. So much more as to what this is all about. What this words may say. Okay? So let's talk about it. I got a zoomed in picture right here. And we looked at this on Tuesday's live stream. We thought we could see like Lost Queen maybe there. Couldn't really make out the first word. And once I say it, you'll be like, oh my God, that's clearly what that is. And then we got some of the other words too, like I am untouchable, something like that. Whatever. So the greatness of the people who love Star Wars in the Discord. If you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. But the greatness of the people who love Star Wars have done the greatness. And that is figured out what this might just say. Now, this is not 100% confirmed. This is still just speculation for now, but it does connect all these pieces. From the Mandalorian and Grogu movie to the Maul Shadow Lord series to Ahsoka Season 2, all this is now coming together as Katee Sackhoff blew our minds, okay? And it starts with this. Yeah. MERRIN. Now give me a 1 into the chat if you know who MERRIN is. I certainly hope many of you do. Maybe non-video game players do not, but tell me in the chat, do you know who MERRIN might just be? Anybody? Anybody? Star Wars Santa, what is up? MERRIN, most notably known for being the girlfriend to CAL KESTIS. Things got very, very interesting yesterday when this was brought to my attention. The translation, now granted, when you look back at this, it could be MERRIN, it could be something else, but when you translate it and you see that this says MERRIN, well, then it certainly looks like MERRIN. MERRIN / the Lost Queen. Now, what do we know about MERRIN? Well, let me tell you a little bit. Actually, let's just do the Wikipedia thing. Why not? MERRIN Star Wars. Nope, that's Merrick. MERRIN Star Wars. So, MERRIN, if you don't know, is a character from the Jedi games, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, girlfriend to Cal Kestis, night sister of Dathomir. That's probably the biggest thing here. But let's take a look. Let's take a look for a second. MERRIN. Whoops. That's better. MERRIN was a Dathomirian night sister who lived on her homeworld of Dathomir during the Imperial era. So this is post General Grievous. Oh, well, there you go. A survivor of General Grievous's massacre of the Night Sisters during the Clone Wars, MERRIN encounters Jedi Master Taron Malicos after he crash lands on Dathomir following execution of Order 66 in 19 BBY. Keep all this in mind. This is very important because when we're talking the Maul series and Darth Maul is going to Dathomir, MERRIN is there. Taron Malicos is there. Cal Kestis comes there at some point. So keep all this in mind, okay? So yeah, Taron Malicos crashed there after on Dathomir after Order 66, which called for the extermination of all the Jedi. Malicos fell to the dark side of the Force and wishing to learn of the Night Sister magic, he manipulated MERRIN through lies. Through lies that the Jedi, were responsible for her losses and false promises to help her avenge her fallen friends, sisters, and mothers. So Taron comes to town and convinces her that the Jedi are responsible for the real, of course, Grievous, Dooku, the Separatists, those are the people responsible. Taron Malicos is completely lying to her. That's what happens in the Jedi Fallen Order game, and then Cal Kestis comes to town and defeats Taron Malicos with the help of MERRIN. Okay. We'll get to that in a second, Mike. Mike says, why is she considered a lost queen? Okay. We'll get to that in 1 sec. When Cal Kestis visits Dathomir and searches the tomb of Kujet, the Zepho sage Kujet, I know, it's all getting crazy, and Malicos asks the former Jedi Padawan to join him, MERRIN realizes that Malicos was deceiving her. She uses the Chant of Resurrection to attack both men, but Cal Kestis eventually returns to complete his mission. Although MERRIN was reluctant to fight alongside the Jedi, Cal Kestis reassures her that she was on her side by sharing the story of his own grief-stricken past and handing his lightsaber to her. So that's the whole plot, pretty much, of Jedi Fallen Order, at least for MERRIN's perspective, where Cal Kestis comes to Dathomir, fights Taron Malicos with the help of MERRIN, defeats Taron Malicos, buries him alive on Mandalore. Oh, the scream's not going to work today. That's devastating. Because the stupid software doesn't want to work. When we send in super chats, we're not going to get the scream. Oh, that's so frustrating. But whatever. What are you going to do? But that's pretty much the gist of Jedi Fallen Order, and that's the character of Merrin as we are introduced to her. Now, she is one of very few remaining Dathomiri. Dathomirians? Dathomiri. I think it's Dathomiri. Either way, people of Dathomir, she is one of very few Night Sisters who survived the purge, the massacre of General Grievous and the Separatists during the events of the Clone Wars. So she might just be the Lost Queen because she is one of only very few Night Sisters who remain. Keep that in the back of your head just for a second. The Maul series will involve Dathomir because that's where Maul is during Solo, when he calls Kira to come visit him, to come be his next apprentice. We assume that he's going to be on Dathomir for quite some time, even before the events of Solo. So Maul is going to be connected to Dathomir and the Night Sisters quite a bit. Ahsoka Season 2. Well, Grand Admiral Thrawn just arrived on Dathomir at the end of Ahsoka Season 1 with a whole bunch of undead Night Sisters, or dead Night Sisters, or sleeping Night Sisters. Remains to be seen. With a bunch of Night Sisters back to Dathomir. All these connections to the Night Sisters and Dathomir are leading in one direction, and that direction is Merrin. And where there's Merrin, there's Cal Kestis, which most fans are looking forward to a little bit more than just the character of Merrin. But still, Night Sisters, Dathomir, Merrin, all day long. And now, Katee Sackhoff, thanks to the great Bo-Katan, we have the first actual solid chunk of evidence, let's call it, to suggest that Merrin and Cal Kestis are actually on their way. Seeing this in possible translation, now take it with a giant grain of salt, possible translation to it being Merrin, the Lost Queen of Dathomir. I don't see why she's considered a Lost Queen. Well, if she's the only remaining, or one of the only remaining Night Sisters left, then she's, technically the Queen. And we have to also put into effect what project is she working on here. When we see Katee Sackhoff talking on a new job, I think you guys are going to love it. What is she working on here? There's probably only 3 realistic options, and that is the Maul series, which we assume is probably still recording vocals right now. Seeing that it doesn't come out till next year. Sam Witwer has said that they've been working on it for over a year. So maybe it's the Maul series. I think it's more likely, though, to be The Mandalorian and Grogu or Ahsoka Season 2. I think Bo-Katan could show up in the Maul series, but it seems highly more likely that she would be in The Mandalorian and Grogu, or even Ahsoka Season 2 for that matter, which are both going to be heavily involved with Night Sisters, Dathomir, and all that greatness. So I really don't know how it's going to all come together. Why she'd be considered the Lost Queen, my only guess would be because she is one of the only remaining Night Sisters ever. So, sorry, Chad, I still got this stupid cold. But, yeah, this just got everything a lot more interesting. Because not only is Katee Sackhoff recording vocals for something that we don't really know what it is and could be a multitude of projects, but the connection between the Night Sisters, Dathomir, to Cal Kestis directly with Merrin, it's clearly being set up over the course of the last 8 years. When did Jedi Survivor come out? 2018, something like that? Whatever. So over the last 7-8 years, we've been setting up this story for Cal Kestis and his girlfriend Merrin to be connected to Grand Admiral Thrawn, the heir to the Empire, maybe actually see Merrin be the key, and Cal Kestis along with him, or with her, to be the key to taking down Thrawn. Because I don't think really it's going to be Luke, Leia, and Han. They don't seem to be going down the route of deepfaking all 3 of these characters. Will they be involved in taking down Thrawn? Probably, but not in the way that they are in Legends. I think we're going to get to see characters like Hera. We know Admiral Akbar. The Ghost Crew of Ezra, Zeb, Sabine, and Ahsoka, they're off doing their own thing on Peridia, so I don't really know how involved they'll be. But then you bring in Cal Kestis and you bring in Merrin. Those are the crew that are probably going to take down Grand Admiral Thrawn. The Ghost Crew specifically has so much backstory with the character that it seems more deserving in a way. With that being said, again, take this all with a giant grain of salt. This is just a translation of a very blurry image, but it does look like it could be very likely. And it does give more evidence to the theories that have been running wild about Merrin being the key, Cal Kestis being the key to all this Dathomir stuff. Because everything is going to Grand Admiral Thrawn. Everything is being tied to the heir to the Empire. Everything is being tied to the Mandoverse. And this might just be more evidence to suggest that. So with that being said, tell me in the chat, what do we think's going on here? Do you think this is Katee Sackhoff recording vocal lines to play a character of Bo-Katan going toe-to-toe with Merrin, or at least having a conversation with Merrin? I don't know. Or do you think it's something else? Now, I got to blow my nose because I know it's annoying, okay, chat? So give me a second.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Sorry about that. Okay. Having a cold is quite frustrating. But I did see a super chat, so hang on, let me get to that really quickly. 50 Thunder with a very generous $2 holla says Scream test. I know the Scream is not going to be there today. Quite frustrating, but what are you going to do? Yeah, I don't know. I apologize. But I appreciate the super chat nonetheless. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. I will say, too, going down the route of going Cal Kestis is a clear win for Star Wars fans. The Jedi games, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, have become just way bigger than I think they ever anticipated. The character of Cal Kestis has become such a fan favorite character that bringing him into live action seems like a no-brainer to me. I mean, right?
This is where the fun begins.
Like it, Cal Kestis. Let's put up a poll in the chat, actually. Why not? Hang on, let me end this first poll. Oh, if you haven't smashed a freaking like on this stream, get on it. Okay, hang on one second. Let's do this. Do you think, let's just put it this way. Do you want Cal Kestis in live action? Yes or no? You tell me. Do you want Cal Kestis in live action? Yes or no? Star Wars Santa says they wouldn't cast Katee as live action as another character now that she's Bo-Katan. She won't be Merrin in live action. No, I'm not saying that she will be Merrin. I mean, the script that she's reading probably has other characters involved too. It's not just her lines. But no, she's not going to be playing Merrin. She's, of course, Bo-Katan. I'm more so suggesting that Bo is going to be involved in all these stories. Like, she's definitely going to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. She's probably going to be in the in Ahsoka Season 2. And it seems a little less likely, but because of Maul's connections to the Mandalorians, because of this time period that the Maul series takes place in, Bo-Katan could definitely be in that too. So Katee could be recording lines for any number of projects. I don't think she's playing Merrin, but she could be playing Bo-Katan in a scene with Merrin. Yeah. Holly, what's up? Says, Mike, Katee is making a show called Carrie based on a Stephen King novel. Is that live action? I appreciate the $5 holla too. I really would do. Perhaps Bo-Katan meets Merrin in some sort of animated series. True, I think that's what's going on here, but it might not have to be animated either. Because Bo-Katan would have to, or Katee would have to record vocal lines to play Bo if she's in the helmet. Because when we see Din Djarin and Bo-Katan and Boba Fett speak when they have the helmet on, that's not them actually speaking in the scene. It's voiceover with studio recordings. Yeah. Yeah. So who will play Merrin in live action? Well, Cal Kestis is definitely Cameron Monaghan. I mean, there's no reason that they made the character look like this great actor. Cameron, he's incredible. Why they wouldn't go Cameron Monaghan? I mean, there's no reason. It's got to be Cameron. But for Merrin, I have no idea. I'm not really good at this whole casting things. Like, I'm not good at actors and actresses. So I have no idea. You guys tell me in the chat who you think would play a great Merrin in live action. I have no clue. But they're definitely going down the route of a lot of Night Sisters. So Only time will tell. Tina Eveles, sure, is an American actress best known for her role as the Night Sister Merrin in the hit action-adventure video game Jedi Fallen Order. Well, there you go. I wonder if they'll do the same voice actress meets live-action character type deal. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Can we look closer at the Fett helmet? What? Oh, the Fett helmet behind me? This thing? Sure. You want a closer look at Boba? Bumpa. You can see the reflection of the chat right there. See it? Okay. Much better. Okay. Where were we? Pull up a picture of her. Okay, let's do that. So, Merrin, what was her name? Tina? Merrin, Tina Ivlev. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Well, let's take a look. She could pull it off. Okay, let's check this out. So this is them side by side. Perfect. So this is Merrin and the voice of Merrin side by side. Zoom out a little bit there. I mean, makeup. I mean, it's not that Night Sisters, they're going to look very different in live action whenever they come. But they're going to have all the face paint. They're going to be definitely looking a lot different. But she could pull it off. Absolutely, she could pull it off. For sure. Yeah. Indeed. I just think what would really be cool, Cal meets, please. What? I don't know what that means. Darth Plagueis lists the very generous $10 holla says Cal meets, please. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate it, I think. Maybe make Cal Kestis, please? I don't even know. But Cal, the thing that has fans so riled up, or at least happy about this, would be the possibility of seeing Cal Kestis in live action. There's going to be a third Jedi game, so the question is, will they bring Cal Kestis into live action before the third game happens? Because the third game's not coming out for at least another 2 years. At least. It takes a long time to make these video games, so it wouldn't be until 2027 where we get the third installment of the Cal Kestis Jedi games. So, do we really want to wait that long to see Cal Kestis in live action? Or are we going to get him in live action before the third game? That's sort of the debate that's been going around. Because we're going to be getting a lot of Thrawn Night Sisters next year in 2026 with Ahsoka Season 2, Mandalorian and Grogu, a lot of Night Sisters, a lot of Thrawn, a lot of Dathomir. So the connection is easily there for Cal Kestis to come into live action. But the question is, will we get Cal Kestis before the third installment of the game? Tell me in the chat. What do we think? Mr. Slash X, what's up? What is up? Yeah. You know what else drops in 2027? Spaceballs 2. Okay, do you guys want to watch the trailer for Spaceballs 2? Do you want to watch the trailer for Spaceballs 2? I'm not seeing the live chat on the screen. Yeah, no, it's not working today. Stupid stream. What's on my shirt? Something on my shirt. The stupid Streamlabs, or what do I use? Stream Yards Labs, something, whatever. The software I use wants to be stupid. Yeah. Yes. Okay. We'll watch it. Spaceballs 2 trailer. Let's do it. Then we got to get into this sequel stuff because this thing is awesome. This is awesome. Okay. So it's just a teaser trailer. Don't get your hopes too high, but it is pretty funny. So let's check this out. Spaceballs, if you don't know what that is, it's a spoof, I guess, a spin-off sequel spoof of Star Wars. It's making fun of Star Wars while being like Star Wars. It's kind of hard to describe, actually. It's Star Wars, but making fun of Star Wars. And it's making fun of everything else, too. Take a look at this. Is the volume on? Okay, we good.
After 40 years, we asked, what do the fans want? But instead, we're making this movie. May the Schwartz be with you.
There you go. So, well, for those of you who are just like listening and not being able to read the screen, I'll read it for you. So it's the opening crawl of Star Wars, pretty much, in blue text instead of the yellow. And it says this. Well, let's watch it again. Why not? I'm going to mute it this time so I can read. 38 years ago, there was only one Star Wars trilogy. But since then, there have been a prequel trilogy, a sequel trilogy, a sequel to the prequel, a prequel to the sequel, countless TV spin-offs, a movie spin-off of a TV spin-off, which is both a prequel of a sequel, not to mention 2 Dunes, 7 Jurassic Parks, 2 Avatars plus 3 upcoming Avatars, making 5 Avatars, 36 MCU movies, I think it's 37 now, with 2 different Robert Downey Jr.'s, DCU attempt number 1, DCU attempt number 2, the animated Lion King, the live-action animated Lion King, the live-action animated Lion King prequel, 8 Harry Potter movies, a TV series remaking the same 8 Harry Potter movies, a whole streaming service for Star Trek, 7 Alien movies, 2 of which were also Predator movies, and not to be mistaken with the other Predator, 6 Predator movies, sorry, that were not also Alien movies, 1 Prometheus movie, which is pretty much an Alien movie, 4 Beatles movies, and Oppenheimer. But in 38 years, there has only been 1 Spaceballs. Until now. Until now. So it is going to be called The Schwartz Awakens. Actually, I don't know if that's what's going to be called, but it says it's going to The Schwartz Awakens in 2027, sorry. So that movie will be coming out in 2027. Pretty funny. I mean, the first Spaceball movie is so iconic. I mean, when you have something as big as Star Wars, you're going to have parodies of it. You're going to have all this stuff. It's honestly, I'm surprised they don't do it more with stuff like Marvel or DC or I guess anything else that's really, really big like Star Wars is. But Spaceballs 2, not what I thought was going to be on my bucket list for today. Not what I thought we were going to be talking about for a live stream, but that's pretty awesome. And no better way to announce it than that. Pretty great. It is really funny when you look at the Star Wars stuff, at least at the beginning. A long time ago, or 38 years ago, there was only 1 Star Wars trilogy, and then there was a prequel trilogy, of course, the prequel trilogy, a sequel trilogy, a sequel to the prequel, which I'm guessing is, I mean, everything in between the originals and the prequels, right? A sequel to the prequels would be The Bad Batch, Solo, Rogue One, Kenobi, Rebels. I guess that's it. A prequel to the sequels would be The Mandalorian, Season 1 through 3, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew. Countless TV spinoffs. Well, I guess that would be the countless TV spinoffs. A movie spinoff of a TV show, which is both a prequel and a sequel. So I'm guessing this is The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's honestly harder to dissect than you think, but it is pretty funny. So Spaceballs 2 for all of you guys out there that love the first Spaceballs. But let's talk about this, okay? The sequel retcon, if you will, that happened in the comics. So usually this happens with Star Wars novels and Star Wars comics is they go into way more detail than the movies do. And that's because they have more time to do so and they hear the complaints from fans. So when you look at, for example, Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is such a massive story and told over the course of only 3 hours, whatever it is, 3.5 hours, that the novel goes into a lot more detail of what people are thinking, what's going on at each time. Like it's way longer and more time to spend with these characters. So the most recent example of this is with Marvel Comics, or sorry, Star Wars Comics, but they're by Marvel. Star Wars Comics. And let's just say a fan theory / fan edit has come to life in Star Wars, has become canon to the Star Wars universe. As this, I'll just show it to you. This was in the latest Star Wars Rise of Skywalker comic. This is the scene at the end of Rise of Skywalker when Rey is all the Jedi and she's taking down Palpatine after all the other Jedi came to her and told her to rise. You hear countless Jedi like Qui-Gon Jinn, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like Luke Skywalker, like Anakin, all these different characters, Mace Windu, all these characters. I don't know if you hear all these specific characters. I know you hear Ahsoka Tano, but Yoda, of course. But this is a fan edit. I mean, we've seen this online. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty damn good. It's all the Force ghosts holding up their hands to take down Palpatine with Rey, helping her out, but standing behind her. But this is just taking it to the next level. They all have their lightsabers ignited as in helping Rey take down Palpatine. Now, when I watch Rise of Skywalker from here on out, I'm going to be seeing this. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be seeing this. It's so much better, honestly, so much better seeing just the faces of these characters. Now, granted, not all of them learned to become Force ghosts. Of these characters, only Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Luke, Anakin did. So all these others, oh, and Yoda, all these others are just no. But the crazy fan theory that has been brought up, or I guess conflict that has been brought up amongst the Star Wars fandom, is the appearance of Ahsoka in this scene. This is a canon comic, so we have to take this with what it is, I guess, because canon comics have been retconned before. But even still, this is a canon comic that just came out, and Ahsoka is up here in the top left corner. Is this implying that Ahsoka is dead? We don't know what the future looks like for Ahsoka Tano. She's on Peridia right now. Ahsoka Season 2 is going to keep her on Peridia, as far as we're aware. And she's not really going to be involved in the whole Grand Admiral Thrawn heir to the Empire type deal. But my question to you, chat, is do you think Ahsoka Tano is dead at this point? Of course she's dead? I don't know about that. I don't know. Because not only does her species allow her to survive till at least like 90, but with the Force, she's at like the Takarutas with the ability of the Force are allowed to live way beyond 200 years old. So she could definitely be alive by the time of the sequel trilogy. But the question becomes, does this confirm that she's dead? She could be Force projecting herself, much like Luke Skywalker did in The Last Jedi. Didn't Dave Filoni say that she was still alive? I don't think he confirmed one way or another. I think he just sort of said she could be alive. Yeah. She's a Force ghost. Interesting. She's going to sacrifice herself for sure. For what, though? It's also suggesting that Mace Windu is dead, too. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. For those of you who think Mace Windu is still alive, does this also assume that he's dead now? I mean, Mace Windu is a little bit different. Ahsoka was a lot younger than Mace during the time of the Clone Wars in the prequel trilogy. So he would be a lot older at this point. They do cover Ahsoka's face to sort of make her seem more like, is she there? Is she not there? Also, that's, of course, Kit Fisto. That's Ki-Adi-Mundi. Who is this next to Ahsoka? Half covering his face. Oh, is that Kanan, maybe? Oh, yeah, that is Kanan. Look at the lightsaber there. That's Kanan's lightsaber. Right above Obi-Wan's head. Huh. That's pretty cool. Kanan Jarrus. There you have it. So, I don't know. Do you think Ahsoka Tano is still alive? Somebody in the comments says, I thought that was Shakti. No, Shakti doesn't have the white lightsaber like Ahsoka does. No. So is this confirming that Ahsoka is dead by the time of the Rise of Skywalker, or could she still be alive? What do we think, chat? What do we think? Why would we hear her voice in Rise of Skywalker? Well, she could just be calling out through the Force to Ahsoka. She doesn't necessarily have to be dead to do so. Kanan is there. That's true. Kanan does say something to Rey, doesn't he? Mace's purple lightsaber is a nice touch. Well, why would they give him a different color? Who says this image is true and not fake? Well, it's in a canon comic. Yeah. First time seeing Force Ghost Jedi wielding lightsabers. Well, again, I don't think these guys are Force Ghosts. As much as it is cool to imagine they're Force Ghosts, the only ones in this image that have the ability to become Force Ghosts are these four guys right here. Actually, where's Leia? Leia's not there. But those four are the only ones who learn to become Force Ghosts. So all these other characters aren't, and Yoda. These five guys learn to become Force Ghosts. All these other Jedi are there somehow through the Force, but they never were given the ability, or learned the ability, I should say, to become a Force Ghost. Greg, what's up? How we doing? Yeah. I guess they just added the Jedi that spoke in the movie. Does Leia not speak? And who are these ones behind her? I think this is to represent that all the Jedi are with her, just the shadowy figures. That guy's got a crossguard over there. That's pretty cool. That's a crossguard lightsaber right there, if I've ever seen one. Hang on, let's save this image so I can open it up and zoom in here. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, that's definitely a crossguard. That's pretty cool. I love the crossguard. And we see it only with Kylo Ren. Seeing it as, well, we see it in Rebels too, but seeing it as a light side lightsaber, a blue lightsaber, is pretty damn cool. That looks High Republic era. This is just to signify that all the Jedi are with her, you know? Because she is all the Jedi at this time. Leia became one with the Force. True. Leia did speak? Okay. But she shows up as a Force Ghost at the end. You know? How come the messages aren't on the screen? Because my streaming software... I love how you guys notice that. Like, I feel like if I was watching the stream, I mean, I wouldn't notice, but I guess because you guys are typing the messages in. Okay, never mind. Okay. I know. My nice touches, the nice greatness that we have on these live streams. Frustrating. Doesn't Ahsoka have two lightsabers? Yeah, but she doesn't have to wield them both all the time. Like, she only uses one when she fights against Balin, I think. Or she uses one, yeah, when she fights Balin. So, I really hope this doesn't mean that she's dead. I think Ahsoka's story can go way past the sequel trilogy. I think, honestly, she's going to stay on Peridea. Her goal is to keep Abeloth at bay on Peridea. I think that's why at the end of Ahsoka Season 1, she says this is where they're supposed to be. But, what are you going to do? Leia became a Force Ghost, but was never officially a Jedi. Yeah, I mean, I guess. She trained with Luke for a while and obviously learned to become a Force Ghost, but she was very strong with the Force. But she never was technically a Jedi. She was never given the rank of Master, just like her father. Pretty much. Hang on, chat.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. So, I mean, let's actually put this in a poll. Let's see what you guys think. Let's end this other Cal Kestis poll, because I certainly hope that it went the way that I think. And it did. Yes, I love to see that. With 92%. Why is that poll not going away? Okay. Do you want Cal Kestis in live action? 92% of you said yes. And honestly, I don't know what the hell the rest of you were thinking. I think it's, the question is before or after his third game. That's really the big question on that. So I guess only time will tell. Did I miss a super chat? Oh, no, I didn't. That was the Plagueis one. That was the Plagueis one that didn't even make any sense. Yeah. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's put up. Why is it not allowing me to do this? Hang on, let me refresh this thing. Let me refresh it. Ah, there we go. Yeah, 92% of you said yes, you do want that. Let's put up another poll here. Do you think Ahsoka is dead by the time of Rise of Skywalker? Yes or no? What do we think? Yes or no? Is Ahsoka Tano dead? Ugh. Ah. This had tea in it, like hot tea, because of my cold. And now it's cold, and it's disgusting. Can we get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Bumpa. Ugh. That was disgusting. Yeah, cold tea is not good. Zombie Ahsoka? Well, she has died quite a few times. That's for sure. Yeah. Ryan, what's up? How we doing? The two Jedi with the cross guards are High Republic green sabers are Stellan Gios and Avar Kriss. Is that confirmed? Is that the truth? Let's see. Are we sure? Hang on. Let's go by silhouettes here. So if you don't know, Avar Kriss and Stellan Gios are both High Republic Jedi. Let's see. Let us see. So Avar's got the green lightsaber and Stellan's got the blue, you're saying? Okay. So you think that this is Avar Kriss and this is Stellan? That'd be pretty cool. Connecting the and would this be what's his name? I recognize the hair. The kid. He's a kid in the first phase, at least, from what I've read. But could be. Tying in the High Republic Jedi, and of course, all the way up till the final last Jedi. Get it? Luke Skywalker legend. Pam Hill, what's up? Just a theory? Oh, okay. I like it. I like the theory. I like it. Why is the Force Ghost of Obi-Wan younger there? Oh, you're right. This is Ewan McGregor. This is Ewan McGregor. Huh. There is a lot going on in this image. Not only is Ahsoka Tano maybe dead, but this is Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, not Alec Guinness's. Leia's not even here. You got some High Republic Jedi in the background. Why is it Ewan McGregor? We've had this discussion before. Would you guys want to see a Force Ghost of Obi-Wan again and it be Ewan McGregor? Because that wouldn't make sense at all. The Force Ghost that we see of Obi-Wan is Alec Guinness. We've only ever seen Obi-Wan as a Force Ghost as Alec Guinness in Empire and in Return. So why would this be Ewan here? That's pretty strange. But there you have it. A fan theory come to life, or a fan edit come to life in this sort of retcon, if you can even call it that, of the sequel trilogy. It's a retcon to me because now, forever, when I watch Rise of Skywalker, this is all I'm going to imagine, is all these Jedi standing side by side with Rey, fighting against Palpatine. This is like, just edit this image into the Rise of Skywalker, and it'll be so much better. Yeah. Yeah. This image is fan-made? No, it's not. This is from the Rise of Skywalker comic that just came out yesterday. Did it come out yesterday? Yeah. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. Indeed. It's the Rise of Skywalker comic adaptation. They've been doing these comic adaptations for the movies, for the sequels for a while. And that's just one of the frames. This is another one, too. Sort of the next one, I think, where she's killing Palpatine as he evaporates into nothingness. And you can see Anakin right there and Luke right there. The two Skywalker bros side by side. Pretty cool. it does just make it that much more. I mean, if that's how the movie ended in the theaters, like people would have lost their minds if they actually showed up. It'd be so cool. Comic came out Wednesday. Okay, thanks. Yeah. So this is from the canon comic that came out on Wednesday. So yesterday. Yeah. Indeed. This is not some fan-made stuff, although the idea, I guess, is fan-made because of the very viral video of somebody editing in all the Force ghosts at the end of the movie. But, yeah. So that's pretty cool. Is Ahsoka Tano dead? Maybe. I hope not. I feel like she could be very involved in the future content, especially if she's protecting the rest of the galaxy from Abeloth. And that would mean that Ahsoka Season 2 is just going to be insane. But, yeah. Oh, nice, Holly. Love to hear that. Love to hear it. Are we not going to talk about the fact that Darth frickin' Vader might join Dead by Daylight in the near future? Well, I would talk about that, but I'm not the biggest on Dead by Daylight. Never played it and don't really know the gist of it. So, sounds cool, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. Yeah. Yoda said Luke would only be a Jedi once he confronted Vader again, and he did so to become a Jedi. Yes, but the problem is, after the Jedi Order falls during Order 66, becoming a Jedi, or at least being called a Jedi, is a little bit different than just calling yourself a Jedi. So yes, Luke does that, but every one of his Jedi Padawans in his Jedi Temple, every one of Rey's Jedi Padawans in her upcoming Jedi Temple, are those considered Jedi? I mean, yes, because there's no other person to say no, but it's all sort of up in the air, I guess. Yeah. One's affiliation with the Order, whether it's Jedi or Sith, etc., is not necessarily an indication on their relationship with the Force. True. Yeah. True. Yeah. I mean, there's really no doubt that Luke Skywalker is a Jedi just from the events of the original trilogy, but for other ones, it's, yeah, I guess different. Yeah. If Rey is all the Jedi, why we need new Jedi if we have Rey? Well, I think it's only in that instant that she is all the Jedi, and all the Jedi are with her. After that, they're not. It's like a one-time push to defeat Palpatine, to defeat the evilness at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. I don't think she has the ability of all the Jedi at all times. Like, that is peak power of Rey right there, and then she climbs back down after she's defeated Palpatine. So all the Jedi are not with her at all times. It's just only when that was needed. Yeah. Wait, Ahsoka has died 2 times already, so yes, she's dead. I mean, yes. Ahsoka dies, but she doesn't really die. You know, she dies on Mortis, but does she really fully die? She gets resurrected in a way, or at least brought back to life by the daughter. So did she really die? And then she dies to Vader on Malachor 5, but does she really? Because Ezra pulls her out. And then she dies to Bale and Skull, but does she really? Because Anakin pulls her out and she survives. So does Ahsoka really ever die? That's the question. Yeah. Ryan says, Mike, are you excited for Darth Talon coming to canon? Yes. I mean, obviously, I'm hesitant, but I am very excited. She is such a great Legends character that bringing her to canon means so much for the future of Star Wars content. So we touched upon it a little bit earlier, but let's talk the Maul series for a second here. Maul Shadow Lord's going to come out next year, and it might change the whole way that the Mandoverse works. Actually, not even just the Mandoverse, but the future of Star Wars content. Because it's going to introduce Darth Talon. It's going to go back to Dathomir and involve Night Sisters and Maul's connection there. And it's going to give us so much information that leads directly to Thrawn, directly to Dathomir that we see in the Mandoverse, Ahsoka Season 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu, but also the post-sequel stuff, the Rey movie, the Simon Kinberg trilogy, maybe even Star Wars Starfighter. If Mia Goth, which we talked about last week, who's been cast as the main villain of the Star Wars Starfighter movie across from Ryan Gosling, if she's really being cast as Darth Talon in live action, that would blow the freaking doors off this place and connecting everything back to this Maul series. Because if you're going to set up a character so great like the Legacy or Legends version of Darth Talon, you're not just going to do that for a one-off project. She's not going to come in, be Maul's apprentice, and then just die. That's not going to happen. So if you're bringing in Darth Talon to canon, to animation in the Maul series, she's going to have a bright future post original trilogy. Somehow, some way, she leaves Maul in the dust. Who knows what happens? That's going to be the plot of the show. And then she eventually shows up again, possibly in Star Wars Starfighter, or possibly even as a canon version of Jorah Sabaoth for Grand Admiral Thrawn in The Heir to the Empire. Who knows? Like, you could do anything with that character, and that's what's really, really cool about it. So, yes. Am I excited to see Darth Talon in live action or in canon? Absolutely. And I can't wait to see how they do it. She's going to probably be like a child. It's going to be like meeting Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. She's going to be almost like a teenager type deal and then get trained by Darth Maul. And then she'll probably disappear for a while, show up 20, 30 years later as a full-grown, possibly Sith Lord in some sort of way, trained by Darth Maul, the apprentice to one of the greatest characters in Star Wars. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be insane. Yeah. So, am I excited? Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. I heard The Acolyte is getting prequels potentially. Well, yes, it's already gotten one. The Acolyte's getting continuations of the stories in novels right now, and in comics, I guess, too. But yes, a prequel to The Acolyte called Wayseeker, I think, came out a couple weeks ago. True. Darth Talon is like the dark side version of Shakti and Ahsoka. No. I mean, yes and no. They're two different species. Darth Talon is a Twi'lek, which is like Hera Syndulla, and Shakti and Ahsoka are Togrutas. They're different species. Yeah. Has anybody read the novel for the Acolyte prequel? No, I've not gotten to it yet. I'm still rereading the Heir to the Empire stuff, so it'll take me a while to get to that, but people need to appreciate the animation more. Yeah. I think the problem is when people see animation, when people see cartoons, they just think kid show. But as many of you can attest, when you watch the Clone Wars or Rebels or the Bad Batch, it's clearly not a kid show. So yeah, I could not agree with you more. Some of the most underrated Star Wars projects, but some of the best Star Wars products are animation. Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch. I think the Maul series is going to continue that, but you got Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld. The animation side of Star Wars is some of the best. And it stinks that some people don't watch it because it's for kids. Yeah. Is Cal Kestis only in the video games? As of right now, yes. Explore the Force, what's up? How we doing? Yeah, as of right now, yes. Wayseeker was a great book. Nice. I can't wait to read it. Listen to it. Probably going to listen to it. But, yeah, can't wait. Going back to the Cal Kestis thing, because it is the topic of today, I guess. Cal Kestis right now only exists in video games. Much like, right now, Darth Talon only exists in Legends. Those things are going to change very, very quickly. The problem with Cal Kestis, though, is he has a third game on the way. So if that third game is before the events of the Mandoverse, because it has to be a pretty big time jump, whatever. I think it's going to probably take place during the events of the original trilogy, but only time will tell with that. But Cal Kestis' appearance in live action could be a while. If not, it would pretty much confirm that he's not going to die in the game. I don't know. Maybe they could use the third game as like a prequel, but I have no idea. I don't know. I hated Resistance. I watched Resistance finally after years of you guys begging me to. It's not the worst thing to ever exist, but it's definitely not anywhere close to the best. It is definitely geared more towards younger kids. Yeah. Yeah. Darth Tommy, what's up? Says, what doesn't make sense to me is why all the Jedi ghosts come together at one time to help Rey. What about all the other times that evil was on the cusp of winning? The Rise of Skywalker is pretty flawed. I agree with you with that. I think there's a lot of explanation that still needs to happen to make Rise of Skywalker a better movie. But in terms of why do all the Jedi come to help her at that one time, I think a lot of that it has to do with what happens at the beginning of the Rise of Skywalker. She's trying to call out to all these other Jedi at the beginning of the movie, and she can't. She's been doing it for seemingly a long time, as we're led to believe at the beginning of the movie. So I think it's more so she's been trying to do that for so long, and then in that time of need, they come to her. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff in the sequel trilogy that needs explanation. The Force healing stuff, like why you could argue that why didn't anybody get Force healed before? Why didn't Qui-Gon get Force healed when Maul stabs him in the chest? You could say anybody shouldn't be able to die if you could just do that. So there's limitations to that stuff and need for explanation, that's for sure. But the only way you can do that is by adding more content around it, is by adding more connections to the sequel trilogy. Yeah. Absolutely. Indeed. By the way, 55% of you say no. You don't think that Ahsoka is still alive during the time of Rise of Skywalker. Interesting. That would mean that she's going to die at some point during this Heir to the Empire stuff, because she's not really involved with Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, unless she's just on Peridia hanging out, but that would be technically alive. That would be alive. Yeah. Or write better story. Well, the problem is it already exists, so you have to kind of do it that more. You know? I appreciate it more on the second watch because I know what to expect. I do like animation style, though. Oh, wait, for what? Oh, Resistance? Okay, yeah. Resistance gets really good at the end of season 2. Season 1 is kind of like very, useless. Yeah. Useless, I guess is the best way to put it. West Side Whiskers? Sure. Says maybe she doesn't die, but exists in like some World Between Worlds type thing. Well, the World Between Worlds is the conduit between the living and the dead, as it's described. Jason, what's up? And that pretty much means that it's almost like a in-between between life and death. So the reason that Ezra and Ahsoka can go there when they're alive, and so can Anakin when he's dead, is because it's this in-between place. So I don't think somebody can exist in there forever. Like you're implying, but I do think that Ahsoka can reside on Peridia for a very long time, maybe the rest of her life, protecting the rest of the galaxy from Abeloth. And maybe when she dies, possibly of old age, that's when Abeloth is able to escape, and that's when all hell breaks loose in the regular galaxy. So maybe post-sequels, Ahsoka is dead. Maybe she dies of old age, or maybe somebody kills her, who knows. But she was the one protecting the rest of the galaxy from Abeloth, and now Abeloth is going to come and kill everybody. But that's, yeah. Yeah. Ezra saved Ahsoka in the World Between Worlds. True. Do you think we will see more of the World Between Worlds used in that manner, such as going back in time? No. Honestly, the World Between Worlds to me, again, this is my take on the World Between Worlds. It seems like it's something that's only utilized very rarely And you have to remember, Ezra goes in there not to save Ahsoka. So as somebody just mentioned earlier, the Force wills it. The Force wills it to happen. So Ahsoka needs to survive for a specific reason. Now that reason maybe has to do with Peridia, but Ezra goes into the world between worlds not to go rescue Ahsoka. He goes there to try and find answers on how to defeat the Sith Lord and defeat Palpatine and defeat the Empire. That's why he goes in there. He saves Ahsoka and learns that he could have saved Kanan, but that would change the events of everything. But that's not why he went in there. The Force wills that to happen. So the same reason that Ahsoka needs to have that one last lesson with Anakin in Ahsoka Season 1 and become Ahsoka the White and teach Sabine, all that has a purpose to it. But what that purpose is hasn't really been revealed to us yet. And that's where things get really, really interesting moving forward with Ahsoka Season 2 and beyond. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of Ahsoka, do you think that Kanan is a Force ghost since we hear him in The Rise of Skywalker? Again, no. I don't think all these characters, I mean, we know that all these characters right here are not Force ghosts. We know Mace Windu's not. We know Plo Koon's not. Ki-Adi-Mundi, Kit Fisto. Like, they didn't learn that ability. Qui-Gon's the first to learn. He teaches Yoda, or what we see in Yoda learns it in Clone Wars Season 5, or 6. Sorry, 6. Obi-Wan learns it from Qui-Gon. Teaches Anakin. Obi-Wan teaches Anakin. And at some point in those years that Luke has with his own Jedi Temple, he learns the ability too. So all these Jedi behind them do not have the ability to become Force ghosts. So they're not all Force ghosts. You know? So why ask if Ahsoka is dead? Well, because she's here. And all these other characters are dead. They may not be Force ghosts, but they are dead. Every single one of these characters, High Republic Jedi, Ki-Adi, Fisto, Kanan, all these crew, they're all dead. We see them die in Order 66. We see him fall out the window. Maybe he's still alive, but he's dead. We definitely know he's dead. We definitely know he's dead. We definitely know he's dead. And he's dead. The only character that's up for grabs here that could possibly be alive would be Ahsoka Tano. That's it. Yeah. Ahsoka will become immortal as she has been the new embodiment of the light side, being the daughter of Mortis. Well, the problem with that is the Mortis gods have been gone for so long at this point. Like in the Clone Wars, they all die. So the Force has been out of balance since then, in a way, I guess. The Mortis gods, that happens in the Clone Wars. So you're talking at least 20 BBY. Right? Around that time. So it's been 25-ish years since then, and the Mortis gods have been gone. Ahsoka is technically the living embodiment of the light side. She is the daughter, but she's not serving that role. There's no father. There's no son. So there really is no Mortis gods right now. That might be the reason as to why Abeloth can break free, which would be great. I'd love to see that. But the whole Mortis God thing seems to be over, which is weird. You know? Yeah. And somebody brought this up the other day, too. Anakin being the father can't really work. Actually, I think it was Nick from Jedi Podcast. Shout out to Nick. It can't work because he's dead. The Mortis gods are living beings, and they actually die. So Anakin's already dead, so he can't be the father after he dies. Right? Shadow Warrior and Knight are the top for me always. Yeah, I mean, those are two great episodes for sure. Absolutely. Any guesses on who the son will be? Well, again, I don't know if the Mortis gods will come back around. As much as Ahsoka is the daughter, I don't really know if there's going to be the son. If there will be, it'll probably be Baylan Skoll. But I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. The lesson makes no sense. Fight or die. And she chooses not to fight, but then she fights anyway? What the hell? Well, she doesn't want to die. The lesson is not fight or die as much as Anakin says it is. It's more so to learn that she can train somebody else without Anakin being there or worrying that that person will become a dark side user. The reason she stops training Sabine is because she's worried that the stuff that, because Anakin became the most evil being in the galaxy, she's worried that that is embedded in her. And the lesson is that that's not the case. She's a completely different person than Anakin and can still fight against the darkness. And Anakin couldn't. And that's why she's able to train Sabine and become Ahsoka the White. Yeah. How this turned into an Ahsoka stream, I don't know. Don't ask me. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. True. I just realized that Kanan and Andor both died, never knowing that they were going to be dads. Kanan might have known, but true, that is crazy. They both died not knowing that they're going to be dads, which is so sad after rewatching the episode because I feel like Kanan knew that he died, that he would die that day. Yeah, Kanan definitely had some prior knowledge as to what was going down that day. Hang on, Chad.
Hello there.
General Kenobi!
He knew a sacrifice had to be made. That's for sure. Cassian definitely didn't know. Bix made sure of that. But Kanan's a Jedi. He could probably sense it in the Force that he somehow impregnated Harrison Dula because we don't see those events happen off screen.
I got a bad feeling about this.
But yes, they are very... when you watch Rebels in Andor, they're both about the rebellion. They're both very different. One's more focused on Jedi and I guess Sith too with Maul and Palpatine, and Vader and the Inquisitors. But you have the other side, which is more of a grounded sort of spy thriller type drama series. But they both sort of tell a very similar story and very similar in the ways of Cassian sacrificing himself, Kanan sacrificing himself, all that stuff. But they're both building up the rebellion. They're both building up the same purpose. And it's really cool that we have 4 seasons of Rebels, 2 seasons of Andor, and Rogue One to all set up the rebellion. All that content just to set up A New Hope in the original trilogy. It's really cool. Well, I guess Rebels now also sets up post original trilogy stuff with the Mandoverse and stuff. Yeah. But yeah. Sorry, Sam was texting me. Okay. Cool. Balin Skull is in the middle. He's more like the father. I don't know. He's pretty more so on the dark side. Well, you have to remember, too, is the daughter is the living embodiment of the light side, and the son is the living embodiment of the dark side. But at the same time, he's not too drowned in the dark side. Like, the reasoning that he becomes dangerous is because he becomes more steeped in the dark side and then tries to leave and tries to lure Anakin to the dark side. So he's not full dark side all the time. He's got more light side to him. So that would make him more like a Balin Skull type character, I guess. Yeah. Having just watched the Mortis God arc is really helpful too. Getting nice and kept up on that stuff. I'm sure that any of the questions that we have about Star Wars will be answered in Spaceballs too. Obviously. I mean, duh. It'd be cool if Sam Witwer comes back to play the son in live action. That would be really cool. Yeah, put him in the makeup. Why not? We're going to get some sort of flashbacks or explanations to the Mortis Gods in Ahsoka Season 2. Absolutely. Andor is the best show ever made, in my opinion. It's up there. It's 100% up there. That's not a bad take. That is not a bad take. I'm rewatching Skeleton Crew these days. It's great fun. Skeleton Crew is very underrated. And it went so under the radar that as soon as it ended, everybody was just like, Skeleton Crew who? It was really good show. Like week in and week out, we were getting hyped up for each episode. The show itself is really good. It just ended in a way where it wasn't really setting up a season 2. It doesn't really, you don't expect these characters to have much of a story beyond this. So, and then Andor Season 2 was on its way. Star Wars Celebration was on its way. So we almost just forgot about the show entirely. But yeah, I mean, Skeleton Crew's unbelievable. Yeah. In Legends, the daughter and the son had to hold Abeloth a prisoner. And when they were gone, Abeloth could escape. Yes. So I think that's sort of what's going to happen in live action. I think Abeloth is still in this prison, but because the Mortis gods are gone, she's able to call out to Balin Skull, who is the one who comes to rescue her. So he's being played by Abeloth. Will he ever figure that out? Well, I don't know. We shall see. Mike, when you reply to Sam's text, tell her that the chat says hi from all of us. I will do that. Actually, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Chat says hi. Let's see what she says to that. Okay. But where were we? Yeah, Abeloth is only able to call out to Balin Skull, I think, at least, because the Mortis gods are now dead. Because they were definitely keeping her a prisoner. Yeah. Ahsoka and Maul keep coming back from the dead. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Maul series is going to, I think, dive into a lot of that stuff. Hopefully. How he survived a little bit. At least telling the story to maybe his apprentice Darth Talon of how he survived the events of the Phantom Menace. But also, the big gap in his story is after Palpatine comes in and absolutely destroys Savage Opress and him, but kills Savage Opress and takes him as a prisoner, the next time we see Maul, he's back leading Mandalore in Season 7. So there's a big time gap there. He gets captured by Palpatine, tortured by Palpatine, rescued by the Mandalorians, but we don't see any of that happen. So maybe in the Maul series, we'll get more of that. I hope, at least. That'd be great. That would be great. There's definitely some significance to the fact that the daughter's sculpture was destroyed. Yes, when Balin Skull is standing on the Mortis God statues and the daughter's head is off, it's pretty much because Ahsoka is the daughter at this point. Yeah. Legends twist. Ahsoka is the daughter, Starkiller is the son, and Anakin is the father. I don't see Starkiller ever come into live action. As much as I would love to, because he's a great character, he's way too powerful. Way too powerful. Yeah. Indeed. Once Kanan got blinded, I feel like he became more in tune with the Force and saw his destiny beforehand. Yeah. Absolutely. I think Kanan became a way better character after Maul sliced his eyes. He just became more with the Force, and then the whole thing with the Loth Wolves and stuff, like it was a way cooler arc for him. Yeah. Ahsoka has something better than plot armor. She has Filoni armor. It is true that Ahsoka is Dave Filoni's favorite character, so she keeps coming back around because he wants to integrate her into all these stories. But she is the apprentice to the Chosen One, so her character development and her arc moving forward is going to be a very important one. So the question remains, how does her character arc end? You know, it'll be pretty hard. It's going to be hard to end a character like that because it has to be epic. It has to be this grand ending for a character like Ahsoka Tano. Yeah. Indeed. It's weird how people say they don't like Legends, but they want Disney to use those characters. Well, it's not that I don't like Legends, because there's a bunch of stories in Legends that I like quite a bit, and characters as well. The problem with Legends is it's so crazy that it can't work in canon. A lot of things can't work. Some things can, but a lot of things can't. Like Starkiller, for example, he is way too powerful. And I love the character of Starkiller, but do I want him to come to canon? No, because that would imply that you have to make him weaker. And I don't want that. I don't want Starkiller to get nerfed because, first of all, it would cause an uproar. People would be like, Starkiller's not this weak. He shouldn't lose to this person. He shouldn't lose to that person. And they're right, because in Legends he wouldn't. But that means that he shouldn't come to canon. Like, that's just, no. Leave him be. Leave him be. Honestly, as the title of this live stream says, Cal Kestis, he's not an apprentice to Darth Vader. He's had many encounters with Darth Vader, but Cal Kestis is not a canon version of Starkiller by any means, but he's along those same lines. Not only is he a video game character, but he has some similar attributes to Starkiller. The struggle between light and dark that Starkiller has as well. Ugh. Sorry, chat. This cold is really annoying, and I'm sure it's annoying for you guys because I'm trying to host a live stream here. But he has very similar connections to a character like Starkiller while making him not as powerful. When you play Jedi Survivor and you go dark side with Cal, it reminds me so much of Starkiller because he's just so unbelievably powerful and he's just taking people out left and right. So it is really cool. Yeah. And when they do that too, like Shin Hati, Shin could be that canon version of like a Mara Jade, like people were saying a long time ago. I think they still could integrate Mara Jade, but even still, that could be a possibility as well. Not that she's the Emperor's hand or anything like that. Not that she'll fall in love with Luke Skywalker, but similar in terms of effect on the story for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah. How powerful would you say Ezra is? Ezra's pretty powerful, and now since he's had the last 11 years to just learn the Force and be with the Force and hang out with the Force, I think he's going to be pretty damn powerful. But he's got the raw strength that we see in Rebels. He also goes a little bit dark side for a while after that stuff happens with Kanan, and he gets persuaded by Darth Maul as well. So I really don't know how powerful he truly is, but I think he's more powerful than most. We'll put it that way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when Cal goes rage mode is great. It is. And that's what is interesting too. With the next Cal Kestis game, the third game, and when he comes to live action too, are we going to get to see aspects of that? Because he leaves off in the second game on a pretty dark note after having to kill. Actually, I won't spoil it, but yeah, you know. You know, if you know, you know. Yeah. We will be getting a lot more Ezra too, yeah, next year. Characters that I want to meet on screen, Ezra Bridger and Cal Kestis. Like, those two characters feel so similar to me. Cal was around during Order 66, Ezra wasn't, but even still, they're growing up in this time of the Empire, becoming Jedi, really harnessing their Force abilities during the time of the Empire, fighting back against the Empire. So they have a lot of similarities without having ever met. So those two characters would be really cool to have on screen together. Yeah. Indeed. Oh. Chat, my voice is hurting. Hang on.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. He needs Force Lightning in the next game? That would be crazy. Yeah. I downloaded Jedi Survivor today. Excited to play it? Oh, that's going to be awesome. If you haven't played it yet, yeah, fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Exactly. Cal's more like Kanan, both with similar backstories. That's true, yeah. They both survived Order 66. But I guess they're probably similar ages too, actually. And that would make Ezra and Cal's relationship even better too. Yeah. I have the worst dentist ever. What's up, Adam? How we doing? Adam pops into the chat and just says, I have the worst dentist ever. That's pretty good.
This is where the fun begins.
They better not retcon the sequels. No, they're not actually going to retcon the entire sequel trilogy. I was just more so saying this is kind of a retcon because it's reconfiguring the scene that we know already. And honestly, to me, this is a great retcon. I will imagine this every time I watch The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Not an actual retconning of the entire sequel trilogy, no. That will never happen. And I don't think it should happen either. Yeah. No, I do not think so. Okay. There was some other stuff I wanted to get to here. Oh, yeah, Kino Loy stuff. Okay, so let's talk about this. Andy Serkis breaks his silence on why he didn't return as Kino Loy in Andor Season 2. Let's talk about this. During Andor Season 1's standout Narkina 5 arc, probably the best arc from Season 1, Cassian Andor finds himself incarcerated by the Empire and unknowingly building parts of the Death Star. It's still so crazy. Like, the Death Star that destroys him in Rogue One, he took part in building that. Wild times. While there, Cassian meets Andy Serkis' Kino Loy, and of course, we find out that he can't swim after the one-way out stuff. So here's what he had to say. With talking with Collider, the actor finally broke his silence on Kino Loy's fate being left open-ended. I ultimately think it's for the best for the character. It was such a great arc, and it had a very, very definite and heroic conclusion. He explains. I think in many ways to go back would be difficult because it has left a mark. I was so surprised at how emotionally effective the character was, actually. So I think that it's way, way better to just leave him on Narkina 5 on his own. Now, we'll go on to what he says after this, but you guys tell me in the chat. Do you think that Kino Loy should have appeared in Andor Season 2? And still, do you think that Kino Loy is alive after the events of Season 1? You got to assume that anybody who didn't escape the prison got recaptured by the Empire. And I'd rather think in my head that Kino Loy is just dead and his sacrifice was great than he's back in another Imperial prison forever. Like, that would suck. That would really suck. So what do we think? Do you wish that he would have showed up in Season 2, or do you think this was the right move? And he goes on. Discussing the character's surprisingly large impact in the Star Wars franchise, Andy Serkis added this. This year, I've actually done a bunch of conventions, and everybody wants to talk about Andor. It's remarkable how much it's affected people, which is great. It's such a beautiful piece of writing, such a beautiful... Jesus. Tony Gilroy and all the other directors who worked on those episodes just cut something brilliant. So, as we all know, it's become this massive thing, Andor, that is. With the viewership numbers still being less than most other Star Wars projects, it's still one of the greatest Star Wars projects of all time. And when he goes to conventions, everybody who comes up to him is talking Andor. Andor, Andor, Andor. And this is a guy who's played Gollum, who's played Snoke, he's been in the MCU. Like, this guy's got some incredible roles, and everybody wants to talk about Andor. The 3 episodes he had with a character named Kino Loy. That's it. Craziness. Yeah. But that's the take from Andy Serkis. But what do we think should have happened in Andor Season 2, chat? What do we think? We all built the Death Star? I don't think so. No and yes. No and yes. No, he shouldn't have shown up. And yes. I don't know what the second one was. I think if Dedra can swim, I wonder if Dedra can swim. Oh, think she's breaking out? No, Dedra's not breaking out of the prison. Okay? She's there forever. Forever! We will never get the answers on Dedra's childhood. Yeah, that was a little strange. Because she says she's grown up with the Empire in these Imperial facilities, but she was way too old to have been... Like, the Empire wasn't around at that time. Yeah. It would have been too hard to make his appearance believable. Not really. I mean, he could have escaped the prison in any other way. Yeah. He should have been there. It was teased before Season 2 landed. I agree with that. I don't know. I think his ending was great in Season 1, so adding to that would have made it possibly worse. But, I don't know. Kino was a legend and a hero. I agree that I don't want to see him get recaptured. Yeah, me either. That would just be too bad. Like, you know, obviously bad things happen in the galaxy far, far away, but that would be horrible. Yeah. Kanan became a pirate and was on the run for a while until he met Hera in a book called New Dawn. I've not read that book, but yes, I've heard that story. Yeah. Pretty good. Okay, fair enough. As a sequel fan, I understand the criticism about the Rise of Skywalker. And shout out to Andy Serkis because I met him 3 years ago. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Grogu 100% is alive by episode 9. Ezra, I don't think he could be very old, though. Yeah, I mean, Ezra could sacrifice himself to defeat Grand Admiral Thrawn. He has such a backstory with this character, having been stranded with him for 11 years and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Grogu and Ezra would be a great interaction, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody made a meme that was like, Ezra Bridger is the only character that could see Grogu and literally say, oh my God, it's Baby Yoda. Because he's met Yoda and he's the only real goofy character that would say something like that. It would be pretty good. How do I feel about Kanan's experience with Order 66 being retconned in the Bad Batch? Honestly, stuff like that I really don't mind. When you're retconning something from a book or a comic that doesn't really change the story too crazily, but it adds great content to the animation or live action side of things, I'd prefer that. I see the books and comics as canon, but as almost more of a recollection of canon. Like somebody writing this canon story. I see the animation and live action stuff, that's canon and canon forever. Like that stuff will never be changed. Or shouldn't be changed, I should say. Yeah. Yeah. Because episode 1 of The Bad Batch is awesome. So I don't want that to be changed. You know? Are you and Sam on to Clone Wars Season 4 yet? No. We are on the last 2 or 3 episodes of Season 3. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Yes. She also has not answered my text. I think she's at the beach right now, so she might be in water. I'm not too sure. Yeah. Not seeing Kino Loy in Season 2 still means that there's a lot of story that could be told someday. I look forward to that. I don't think so. I don't think they would do that. Give us more Kino Loy later on. No. Yeah, I don't think so. Lucas had a tier of canon. Movies were always canon. The books and comics were down the line, and anything else in the higher tier took precedent. Yeah. George Lucas especially, like he didn't really, all that Legends books, he didn't see as canon at all. The extended universe, it was called at the time. Yeah. For sure. Okay. Let's read this one more article, and then I will probably get on out of here pretty early today, just because I can't really even speak anymore. Okay, so this is coming from the Inverse, and I pulled this article up before the live stream because it's pretty crazy how the High Republic era is coming to an end, and the only amount of content that we have in that era in live action or animation is The Acolyte, which has been canceled for a second season. So let's take a second to look at this. Star Wars High Republic era should find a new life on TV. I could not agree with that more. When it comes to a huge franchise like Star Wars, your fandom can be as serious as you want it to be. You can watch just the movies, add in the live action shows, supplement those with the animation shows, or dive into the books and comics as well. You can be any tier of Star Wars fan you want to be. If you are truly hungry for more, you could even check out the decades worth of old and now non-canon material that makes up the Legends continuity. Within the depths of the modern canon, a massive multimedia project has captured the attention of hardcore fans for several years. It's winding down now, and it is the perfect time to revive it on television. Across 20 5 books and over 100 comics. The High Republic era has a vast story about the Jedi at their peak, in everything from young reader novels that sweep fantasy epics. Fans have gotten to know Vanestra Rao, Avar Kriss, Lena So, who's the Chancellor at the time, as they protect the universe against the threat of superpowered pirates known as the Nile. 4 years after its beginning, the multi-phase project is ending with Charles Soule's Trials of the Jedi, available on June 17th. That's in 5 days. I have 5 days to catch up on all these books? Not happening. But in a roundtable conversation published by StarWars.com, Lucasfilm Publishing Creative Director Michael Siglen said this is absolutely not the last time that we will see the High Republic era. It's the end of this particular story, but it's definitely not the end of this era. And we absolutely plan for other stories. I wouldn't say it's a phase 4, but we could say it's more of a phase more. So getting more of the High Republic is guaranteed, but in what form? This hints at the High Republic novels, more High Republic novels and comics. But at this point in the Star Wars franchise, the future of this era should lie with Disney+. We've already seen a High Republic on screen as it's set in the Young Jedi Adventures story in the canceled Acolyte show, which included Jedi Vanestra Rao. Another High Republic series or 2 would help familiarize casual viewers with this era. The story's already there, and it's already planned out very, very well. The Star Wars TV landscape is in desperate need of a shakeup. Andor is over. The Mandalorian, once synonymous with Star Wars television, is moving to the big screen. Television, I guess, is supported to help keep the franchise popular between movies. But right now, the only upcoming live-action Star Wars show is Ahsoka Season 2, and a series coming from Carlton and Nick Cuse, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. That's so early in development that it doesn't even have a title yet that we're aware of. These are signs that Lucasfilm is giving up on the streaming TV entirely. Andor Season 2 had trouble getting funding from Disney because it's, to quote Tony Gilroy, streaming is dead. But instead of taking a step back, step into the story that has been clugging along in the background for years. It's time to try something new. And the source material is right there. So tell me in the chat, do you think it's a good idea to go and turn these High Republic novel stories that are already so well planned out into live action shows or even animated shows? What do we think? What do we think? Give me more of The Stranger. Well, The Acolyte Season 2 will be very different than that, because The Acolyte actually takes place at the very end of the High Republic phase, or High Republic time period, era, whatever you want to call it. So that would be a little bit different. But do you want a continuation of the High Republic era on Disney+? They do bring up a great point that Ahsoka Season 2 is the only live-action Star Wars project coming to Disney+. That's it, that we're aware of course. There are probably some in development. But they are having a big old shift to the movie theaters. Plus, we got Darth Plagueis, and then it was canceled. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about The Acolyte till the cows come home, but I don't own any cows, so they're not coming home. Yeah. Star Wars Santa says, I don't know. We really don't have any other publishing work that has been translated into other media types. True. At least not canon stuff. I mean, you have the Heir to the Empire stuff being turned into canon right now, but that was Legends material first. Yes, you don't have a one-to-one, story-to-story, book-to-show. It doesn't have to even be that, though. You could take the overarching stories and tell different side stories from it, and then have the books work as more continued content. There's ways you can go about it. Yeah. Maybe use animation for the High Republic? Maybe. Well, we're already getting the Maul series as the next animation, so maybe not. Jody says, yes, please. Yes, yes. I want to see the Nameless on screen, and yes, a continuation of the High Republic in animation. See that. Could see it. People will only be saying the show's okay, but the books are better. I could see that too. But not many people even read the books too, so that would just be a whole other thing, you know? I know there was something else I wanted to show you guys, but I can't remember what it was. We already talked about that. Oh, yeah. I got a couple things here. So one being this. Coleman Treber, or Treber, whatever you want to call him. Coleman has been, or his species has been spotted in the background of Andor Season 2. Obviously, we know that he's dead, but still, pretty funny. And then the other one was this. On the set of Ahsoka, Sabine Wren. That's a lot of waffles. Yeah. 2026 is going to be a fun year for Star Wars fans. Oh, yeah. 2026 might be, it could be the best year for Star Wars ever. When you look at the Maul series, The Mandalorian Grogu, Ahsoka Season 2, if Ahsoka Season 2 is anywhere close to Ahsoka Season 1, if the Maul series is anywhere close to any of the other animated shows, which I think it will be, and The Mandalorian Grogu is a solid, if not great movie, it will be the best year for Star Wars ever. Yeah, because that's the only projects that we know about, too. There could be even more. But yeah. Kyler, what's up? How we doing? I still think the missing years of Luke should be animated into the Clone Wars style. I absolutely agree. A Luke Skywalker animated Clone Wars style Jedi Academy series, gold mine right there. Getting to tell more of the story of the original trio, Luke, Leia, and Han, and more. Sign me up. Just think of how good 1977 was. True, but the only thing you got in 1977 was A New Hope. Now, A New Hope is the beginning of it all and a great, great movie, but still, it's the only thing you get. If we get a great, great movie next year and a great animated show and a great live action show all in the same year, it'd be pretty crazy. I think they should make the main High Republic books into movies and other stuff into animation, and then we have years of content. True, but it'd be content that we already know the ending to, or you could already look up the ending to, which isn't a problem for some things. You get The Last of Us show, which is a huge success. You already know the end of that. House of the Dragon is very popular. You already know the end of that if you read the books. You already know the events of those things. Harry Potter. Harry Potter is huge. They're making a whole series. You already know the end of that. So I guess it could work. But it'd be the first time for Star Wars. Yeah. It would be. So why make the TV shows of the High Republic if they don't sell well? And the comic books don't sell well either. Well, it's not that they don't sell well. It's books and comics in general for Star Wars don't really sell all that well. They do sell, but not like crazy, crazy numbers where they're making tons and tons of money. The first High Republic book, and I don't know if any of them else are, but the first one was a bestseller, I think. New York Times bestseller. I'm not too in tuned with the numbers there, but yeah. I think if it was turned into a show or a movie, or movies and shows, live action or animation, it would be more popular. Yeah, more people would check it out than just the books. True. And yes, Sabine likes waffles. Okay. Oh, and this other thing too. The actress for Clea posted this online. There's Clea playlists. Pretty awesome. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. And I do have to get on out of here because I'm dying. Not actually. It was an over-exaggeration. Yeah, I just got to rest my vocal cords a little bit here for the rest of the day. Okay. But with that being said, I do have to get on out of here. Smash a freaking like on this tree if you have not already. Working on some pretty cool stuff behind the scenes. Hopefully this weekend, one of these things that I've been working on for weeks and weeks now will be done and we can get it out there to you guys. So we'll see about that. But watch out for that. And of course, live streams every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for the rest of your lives. Even when I'm sick. But yes, I appreciate you all so much more. Oh, wait, I have to end this poll. The poll, Mike, the poll. Do you think that Ahsoka's dead by the time of the Rise of Skywalker? 51% of you say yes. 48% say no. The math is not mathing, but still, that's a very close poll right there. Closer than we've had in a long time. That's pretty wild. That's crazy. Okay. I appreciate it. Greg, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But Melissa, I appreciate that too. Okay. It is a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Absolutely. Yeah, Chris, we watched the Spaceballs 2 teaser trailer. We did. Okay. Smash a freaking like on the stream. How many likes do we have? Am I going to be upset, chat? Am I going to be upset? That's not too bad. But I appreciate you. Sorry about the technical difficulties and my voice sounding like I'm sick because I am, and all that stupid stuff. I love it when technology doesn't work. It's so great. But until next time, smash a freaking like on the stream. Hit subscribe. Hit that blah, 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 blah. And may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. 50 Thunder, I appreciate that. $2 Hollis is great chat, everybody. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah. This is going to be crazy, crazy times for Star Wars fans. Crazy, crazy times. We get to do it with the greatest community of all time. But I appreciate you all so much more than you ever know. Hit that subscribe. Smash a freaking like. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.